instead of looking at things as failures or shortcomings or, you know, those tend to have negative connotations. So what if we just call it a mishap or a delay or a hiccup? You know, it was something strategically put in place to trip you up. And not in a way that is punishing, not to punish you, but to encourage you to reassess, reevaluate, take a step back, what's working, what's not. Because, so, I had a really good interview with this job. It's really, really good. I felt really good about myself, and it was just supernatural and it's been like a week or two. But anyway, didn't get the job. I was waiting on a second interview. Didn't get the job. And so my natural reaction to that was relief. Because I had been thinking about it, you know, and how it would work in my schedule and just being, you know, just speaking it. I hadn't told anybody, just, you know, letting things be how it be, you know, like. But it's just good to know, right, that I didn't get the job. I didn't get that job. I didn't get that position. Okay, and then it's just like, why? The interview went really, really well. I felt good about the interview. The interview was good. The interview was good. It was good. And you were proud of yourself. And it was exactly like, don't let that moment be tainted or tarnished because of the result or the outcome that feels like it's not in your favor or it's not ideal. And like, okay, you wanted the job and like you knew you was gonna get it, but you didn't. And so like I said before, it just felt like, well, that's good to know. Now I can continue to move forward. It does not invalidate me. It does not, you know, make me unqualified. Ooh, we got a new cat feeder. That should be scaring me. A new cat feed. Yeah, a food cat. Yeah. Yeah. It don't have to be a defining moment. Like, fuck yeah, you know. But you use this opportunity instead of me being like, fuck, man. It was an opportunity for me to validate myself. For me to still say, you know what? That was a good ass interview. That was a good experience, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Now I feel a little more prepared for the next experience. Or like now, like, okay, good. Good. I don't even want to know why I didn't get the job. Good. That's how I felt. You know, and you gotta watch what you be saying too, because sometimes I, you know, get to just thinking out loud and like, that's not really what I want anyway. I don't want a job. Like, I don't want to work. I don't want to. And like, the universe is like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yet you're over here like, I need the money. This is an opportunity. This could be good. It's close to the house. You know, it makes sense. And then the universe is like, but you said this is not really what you want. So it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. It's just like the money thing. But if that's not what you're supposed to be doing anyway, then you got to know that you'll be provided for when necessary. You've got to know that because you're aligned with your life's purpose, your soul's mission, then you can't lose. You'll never be without what you need, because not only will you be prepared, but you'll be equipped. It takes a lot, It's a lot, But we have to start training our mind. We have to start telling ourselves, like, this is how we're going to start thinking about things, because if this rejection is putting me where I need to be, if that's not where I need to be, then thank God. I don't have any time to waste. That's my thing. That's why I felt like, really, I'm like, okay, good. We can move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I can choose now. I can choose now. I can choose right now, this moment, right now. Where at the time, I was in Florida with family. And I got the message, I got the email, like, on the trip. And I'm like, well, I could be sour, I could be sad about this, and my trip could be soured because of how I'm feeling. But it didn't even faze me. It was just kind of like, oh, well. It's almost like exciting. It's almost exciting for things not to go my way. How is that? That's crazy as fuck, right? So, like, what if we trained our mind to be excited when things don't go our way, instead of discouraged and defeated and then feeling like you did something wrong? Nah. I popped it. Okay? I was a shoo-in. You know what I mean? Like, stop playing. Like, don't do that to yourself. It had nothing to do with your energy, your personality, your qualifications. Nothing to do with that. That was protection. Allow yourself to be protected and redirected. And then you have to be able to sit in that. You gotta be able to sit in that. Like, damn, this ain't going how I thought. You have to sit in that lack of control. Now, at this point, you feel a little out of control, don't you? Like, cause like, what's next? And I'm learning that that's all I'm really afraid of. That's all we're really afraid of is uncertainty, not knowing, the insecurity. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is. I'm not afraid of being rejected. You didn't want me, your loss. I'm not afraid of being judged. Like, I'm not afraid of being perceived. I'm not afraid of being abandoned. I'm not afraid of, you know what I mean? I'm afraid of uncertainty. I'll admit that. Like, I don't know, and I feel like everybody can attest to that. Everybody can agree to that to some extent, to some, like, and we do everything that we can to have some sort of control over our reality, even down to trying to control people's perception of us. Creating labeling these fears as a way to avoid discomfort and uncertainty. Not being able to sit in the void, in the liminal space, in the in-between space, not being able to allow yourself to feel your way through. It gets sticky and life is hard. It sucks, honestly. But you gotta be willing to I keep turning around. I'm just being nosy. You gotta be able to navigate the ebbs and flows, bro. You know, it ain't as bad as it feels right now. It's what's on the other side of that gets... We don't want to deal with that. So I'd rather not go for the thing, or I'd rather respond to it in a way that feels normal or expected. Because no, rejection and it doesn't feel good. But it's also strictly business. And I can't take it personal. I'm only taking it personal because I had personal expectations. And they apparently did not fit. So I'm not labeling that rejection. I was not rejected, you know. In my mind, this is what I have to tell myself. This is how I operate. You know what I mean? Like you have to have your own operating system. When things don't go as planned, what do we do? So it's not like, I imagine that episode of SpongeBob. I think it was the fine dining episode, but it was like a million little hymns running around in his head, like panicking, you know. It was like going up in flames and like, what's his name? Like the nigga forgot his own name because he was so focused on fine dining, because he was so focused. That's a beautiful point right there. That's a message right there. Like, because you're so focused on trying to appear a certain way, to be perceived a certain way to everybody else. You're so busy studying how to exist outside of yourself, if that makes sense, that you forget your own name type shit. And that pulls me back to, you know, the reframe. Don't forget who you are in those moments. The ups and the downs. Make sure that in those moments that you're reminding yourself that this is a roller coaster. Because when you're on a roller coaster, you already know what's coming. You already know what goes on. You're not worried because you got on the roller coaster for that effect. You got on a roller coaster for that. Don't nobody want to go in a straight line or go, I mean, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's more fun with the ebbs and flows. It's more fun that way. You have to learn how to appreciate every turn. Because on the roller coaster, you know, it's like, oh, you know, that when I go down, I gotta go up again. If I'm going around, like, you know, unfortunately, on a roller coaster, you can see what's coming if you're, you know, it's still risky business. But it's fun. It's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's refreshing, it takes you out of your body for a little bit. You can't really be in your head on a roller coaster. If you are, then you're definitely not enjoying yourself. Like, you're not having fun. You're not having fun on a roller coaster if you're, like, trying to focus. Like, going against the grain. Don't go against the grain. You know, allow the... I don't even want to say bad, but just the not so good days, the not so good times, to be a reminder, be an opportunity to remind yourself who you are, and what you're really about. Because SpongeBob is the opposite of fucking fine dining. He didn't know he had to literally change his whole makeup. And that's essentially what we're doing day to day. Putting on a fucking costume, trying to fit in, trying to make it make sense, trying to make this money, trying to stay out the way. You know, and whole time, they really have you caught in a loop, caught in a cycle. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to ruffle feathers. This is something that I'm actively trying to step into and just own it. Like, I'm here to ruffle feathers. You know, I'm here to make an impact. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to implement, you know, God's strategy. You know. Yeah. I'd like to think I'm a chosen one, an earth angel, a starseed, you know, like, I'm the one. You know, and been that. And will always be that. So, I'm catching up to that belief system and that way of living, that way of life, and moving like I'm somebody. You know, no matter what I look like. Because I'm so ready to get my hair done. But, like, it don't even matter. It don't even matter. Like, because my energy, my aura alone speaks for itself. And that's why me and you go together so bad, because you understand that there's more to this shit that's required of me in order to be fulfilled here. Because that's what I'm on. I've always just had this a different kind of nudge, a different kind of pull. And I am a natural, just truth seeker. That's my life path number 7. And in order to do that, you gotta be willing to explore. You gotta be willing to learn. You gotta be willing to look silly. You gotta be willing to be judged and perceived and rejected and abandoned. All the things. Like, on this journey, some things ain't gonna look like how you want them to, but you still have to look at them. You have to face them in order to gain every part of you. Because through every lesson learned, it's like you gain a different level. You gain a different kind of access to who you really are and what you're really capable of. So you have to validate yourself. You have to remind yourself what you're capable of, and that this is only a hiccup. I don't even want to say like a mishap, like a mistake, or it's a delay. Delay is not denial, delay is not confirmation. It's information. This is just information. This is just good to know, I was not meant to have that job, period. And you can apply that to anything. You know what I mean? Certain things aren't supposed to come to fruition. Confirmation burp. It just is what it is, and you have to be able to accept that. And not lose, I want to say, any sleep about it. Because you understand that the process, the progress, what's on the other end of this thing requires ups and downs. It requires losses. You're going to lose people, places, and things along the way. But that's a part of the journey. We can't waste time holding on to anything that is outdated. Once you find it out, once you get the information, then make a decision. You can choose to waste time or you can move on. Whatever amount of time that takes for you. Because I don't think that healing is rushed. I don't think it's something that can be done in a certain amount of time. It's like, but you have to let it run its course. You have to let life run its course. You got to let it teach you some things. You got to be able to withstand life's challenges and allow them to make you stronger. Everything ain't meant for everybody, and that's okay. Thank God that certain things just aren't meant for us. You get to a certain age, you get to a certain point in your life. It ain't even about age. You get to a certain point where you're tired of going against the grain. Like, you're tired of resisting the inevitable change that is upon your life, kind of thing. Like, there's nowhere to run at this point.